Hey guys, welcome back to the Hoops Crew. My name is Jake, and on today's episode, we're going to be looking at which of Geelong's 2025 draft class I think will debut first, and more importantly, can any of them make a start in 2026? To get a look at that, we are going to do a little bit of digging to look at the recent history of which current Geelong Cats on the list debuted in their rookie season. And then I will make the case for Harley Barker, Hunter Holmes, Nick Driscoll, and Jesse Malor as the Cat rookie most likely to start first in 2026. But before we do any of that, we're going to say a quick thank you to our media network sponsor, Cyril Cook Florist. The Hoops Crew Media Network is proudly sponsored by Cyril Cook Florist. Use the offer code GOCATS at checkout when shopping their store online to get 20% off your next purchase. Okay, so let's crack in by having a look at which Cats currently on the list debuted in their rookie season in Geelong. Now, it's quite a list. There's 11 players currently on our list who debuted in their rookie year at the Cattery. And we're talking, of course, of Tom Atkins, who played 23 games at age 23. He debuted at age 23. We've got Tom Stewart, who debuted at age 24. He played 21 games. Sean Manor, at age 26, he played a dozen games in year one. Max Holmes, 18 years of age. He played 12 games. He's the only player on this list to be under the age of 20 and play double-digit games in his rookie season as a Cat. Lawson Humphries, age 21, he played 11 games in his rookie season. Zach Guthrie, he was 19 when he played 9 games in his rookie year. Brad Close managed 8 games in his rookie year at age 21. And then you've got 2 games each for Mitch Nevitt and Ollie Dempsey in their rookie year. They were each 19 years of age. And Jai Clark and Connor O'Sullivan managed a single start each in their debut season at the Cats at age 19. So 102 games between these players who are currently on our list who started in their rookie year. So 102 starts in their rookie years combined. It's interesting to note that of these 11 players, 9 of them are now entrenched starters and 10 played on grand final day in 2025. Mitch Nevitt, the only Cat who did not play on grand final day off this list. Now, does this mean that any rookies who debut this year are destined to start long-term at the Cattery? Absolutely not, because we're only looking at players who are still on the list for this exercise. There would be a bunch of players elsewhere who debuted in their first season for the Cats and are now no longer here. So if we wanted to look at that, we'd find some nuance to that. But of course, for the purpose of this exercise, where I'm just trying to look at, hey, these are the 4 players we drafted this year. Who do I think might play in year one? We don't need to dig into all that other stuff. But it's also worth noting that just because you don't play year one doesn't invalidate your credentials as a footy player. Far from it. Sam De Koning, Brian Myers, Jed Buse, Jack Henry, Shannon Neal, Mark Blixarves are just examples of players on the Cats list who took a year or two of development before they were seen as ready for the jump. So I want to break down a little bit, I suppose, of the demographics around these players that we're currently looking at on Geelong's list. So of these 11 players, they played 102 games combined in their rookie seasons. It's really worth noting about age, and you would have noticed it when I was reading them out. Of the 102 games played in rookie seasons by these 11 Cats, 75 of those games belong to Tom Stewart, Tom Atkins, Sean Manor, Lawson Humphries, and Brad Close. Those players were 24 years old for Tom Stewart when he debuted, 26 years old for Sean Manor, 23 for Tom Atkins. Brad Close was 3 days away from his 22nd birthday, and Lawson Humphries was 21. So 75% essentially of these games by these players on our list who started in their rookie year belong to players who were 21 or older when they got their first taste. That means of players under 20 on this list who played the remaining 27 games, Max Holmes owns 12 of those in his rookie year. Zach Guthrie, the 9 games at age 19. Nevitt and Dempsey, 2 games each at age 19, and Jai Clark and Connor O'Sullivan, the single game each. They make up the rest. So the vast majority of games played by Cats currently on the list who played in their rookie season were played by the players 20 or above. And it's also worth noting that of the 102 games, 60 of them belong to players taken in the national draft, 42 belong to players taken in the rookie draft. So that's how it sort of splits out in terms of age and in which draft you were taken. Remember, Max Holmes is the only player currently on Geelong's list who played double-digit games in his rookie season for the Cats at under 21 years of age. So he's the only player currently on our list to have done that. So, of our 4 youngster additions this season, all 4 are 18 years of age. So we don't actually have one of those, 20, 21-year-old, 22-year-old rookies drafted this year. We've got Harley Barker, Hunter Holmes, Nick Driscoll, and Jesse Malor, all 18 years of age. Going to start by talking about Harley Barker. So we drafted Harley Barker out of Sturt in the Sandful. He played 4 games for South Australia in 2026. He averaged 16 disposals, 5.5 marks, 1.8 tackles, and 1 goal per game. Now, Rookie Me Central, if you're not on Rookie Me Central for your draft stuff, what are you doing? It is the go-to resource for me. This is a free plug. There are no kickbacks from Rookie Me Central. I just love their website. I think it's fantastic. They listed his strengths as kicking, outside run, overhead marking, speed, versatility, and work rate, while his areas for improvement are contested game, ground balls. So his season was ended by injury, and that will probably eliminate him from discussion of an AFL debut in 2026. But I've got to be honest, if it wasn't for the injury, I think Harley Barker would probably be my nailed-on pick for a debut in 2026 if it wasn't for that injury. I think he fits the profile I'd be looking at in terms of the speed and skill you're looking at for AFL level. If he wasn't injured, he would have gone much, much higher in the draft. So that's sort of, I guess, the talent level that we're talking about. Unfortunately, the injury will probably rule him out. And so for that reason, I'm not going to elect him as my player that I think will be most likely to play in year 1, or at least play first in year 1. That moves us to Hunter Holmes, Max's brother. We drafted Hunter 33rd in the national draft from the Oakley Chargers in the Coates Talent League. He played 14 games for the Chargers this season. He averaged 18.7 disposals, 2.6 marks, 3.2 tackles, and 3.1 clearances per game. Our friends at Rookie Me Central, they graded his strengths as clean hands, outside game, rate of improvement, running capacity, speed, and toughness. They listed his areas that need improvement as composure, kicking, and strength. And there were some phrases that stood out to me in their description of him. Deceptive toughness, impact on the inside and outside of midfield, and rate of improvement. They really stressed that he is a player who can grow and learn quickly. And that sort of stood out to me when I asked the question about whether Hunter Holmes can play year 1. Can his speed of development push him into a year 1 debut? That moves us to Nick Driscoll, drafted 28th in the rookie draft from Northern Knights in the Coates Talent League. He played 16 games for the Knights in 2025. He averaged 17.4 disposals, 3.3 marks, 2.6 tackles, 3 clearances, and half a goal per game. Rookie Me Central, they listed his strengths as clean hands, run and carry, speed, and stoppage craft, with his areas for improvement being his accumulation and consistency. Now, Nick Driscoll made a VFL debut with the Northern Bull Ants in round 17 of 2025. And phrases that stood out to me in his description, electric turn of speed, a moment's player, building consistency will be key to becoming a more reliable asset. That paints the picture for me with Nick Driscoll. And the question I'm asking is, can his moments, of which there are plenty, outweigh the inconsistencies that are surely going to be there in year 1 for this player in 2026? That's the question. Which moves us finally to Jesse Malor, Category B rookie. He's an academy selection for the Cats. He played 13 games for the Geelong Falcons in 2025, averaging 16.8 disposals, 4.3 marks, 4.3 tackles, 2.2 clearances, and just a tick under 2 goals per game. He also played a couple of games for Geelong's VFL program late in the season, which I was able to watch. His second appearance in particular, he garnered 17 disposals, 4 marks, 3 tackles, and 2 goals. So he showed a lot of improvement in those 2 games even. I think the first game he might have only had, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 touches, but he laid 6 tackles and kicked a goal. Second game, 17 touches, 4 marks, 3 tackles, 2 goals, one of which was an absolute beauty. Slotted set shot from tucked in at the pocket. So yeah, flashed a lot of why you would draft him, I guess. Rookie Me Central list his strengths as clean hands, consistency, overhead marking, power, scoreboard impact, strength. His areas of improvement being his decision making and speed. Some phrases that stood out to me in Rookie Me's description of him were consistency with his goal kicking being a hallmark of his game, clean hands and strength, and his competitiveness and ability to step up when a game is on the line. I'm interested to see if he can pair that already impressive array of skills with some craft and decision making to get a year one start. So that'll be it for me. Can that decision making and maybe a bit of speed catch up to the other areas in his game? I've got to make a pick, obviously, because there'd be no point me putting a video out like this saying, who do I think is going to start year one? And then not telling you who I think is going to start year one. So who debuts in 2026? Well, it's a really tough decision to narrow down. I think there's an outside chance that we see a game out of several of these guys in 2026 if the conditions are right. But if we're choosing most likely to get the start first, I'm going to rule out Harley Barker, assuming the Cats will be conservative with his management, with an eye on a big 2020 season for him. I'll say Nick Driscoll. I think he'll probably need to develop that consistency a little bit more in the VFL first. So I might be watching a lot of him in the twos, which is our VFL coverage for our Hoops Crew Patreon subscribers. Every week I do a development breakdown of where our fringe and rookie players are developing in the VFL. So you can get that on Patreon every week. So I'm going to say Nick Driscoll. I'm not going to say he's going to be the first one of these guys to get a debut, which leaves me with Jesse Malor and Hunter Holmes. So let me take your mind back to a stat I gave before. Max Holmes is the only player currently on Geelong's list who played double-digit games in his rookie season for the Cats at under 21 years of age. It'd be a cool story to repeat the dose here, and that's why I'm going to say that Hunter Holmes, Max's brother, gets a look at AFL level before Jesse Malor, simply based on the idea that his rate of improvement allows him to move quickly past and iron out some of his rough spots earlier in the season and put himself in the frame to have an early look at AFL level. Don't count Jesse Malor out, of course, because of the 3 draft lads that look like having a clean bill of health in their rookie year at the Cats, touch wood. He might have the best all-round skill set, but I've got to pick who I think debuts first. I'm going to say Hunter Holmes. Now, there was an interesting chat I heard the other day about baseball players who were the younger siblings becoming better than their older siblings because of how quickly the younger sibling had to improve to compete in the backyard battles that they would have as kids. And maybe some of that, plays into Hunter Holmes' rate of rapid improvement. I mean, he's got this blueprint of an AFL player right there growing up in the same house with him. And maybe that will work out for Hunter here. Whatever the case, I think there's reason to be really excited about all of these rookies. I think the Geelong Cats did a really good job at quietly getting better this offseason, not just in the here and now, but the long term too. I think that's the great thing about being a Cats fan, is that we have a team that has so many credits in the bank in terms of what they've achieved, over the last number of years, a prelim in 2024, a grand final in 2025. You can afford to take a player like Harley Barker, knowing that he's probably not going to play in 2026, but you're going to get better in 2027 having him on your list. There's a long-term vision that can happen. There's not a desperation to force any of these guys into the team before they're ready. And I think that is a huge cornerstone of Geelong's success in the AFL men's program, an ability and a willingness to develop guys over time without pressuring them in before their bodies or skill sets are ready. All right, that's all from me. Thanks so much for watching this video, guys. Please hit the subscribe button to keep up to date with everything we're doing here on the Hoops Crew. And until next time, go Cats!